this story so far. Nestlé's baby food products in Asia, Africa, and Latin America contain sugar. Those in Europe don't. More sugar in baby foods cause babies to consume more of it because of the sweet taste. This confuses parents into thinking that this is healthy because their babies eat it happily. Nestlé sales go up, but the babies start suffering from tooth decay and obesity problems in the long term. In India, the product contained 2.7 grams of added sugar per serving and was mentioned on the packaging. In Philippines, it was as high as 7.3 grams and wasn't even mentioned in the packaging. Indian Express did a report on this. This isn't the first controversy that Nestlé has been caught in. Here are some more. Baby formula in third world countries from the 1970s. Not all new mothers can breastfeed. The number is between 10 to 20% depending on the country you look at. A healthy baby formula makes sense for their children. For all other children, the best nutrition they must get, at least for the first 6 months, is breast milk. However, Nestlé wanted to go beyond the 10%. So what did they do? They convinced mothers that breast milk isn't as good as their expensive baby formula. And they went to great lengths to convince mothers that the formula is awesome. They dressed up women in nurses' outfits and sent them to talk to mothers at their homes and convince them to stop breastfeeding and start giving formula to children. Why nurses' outfits? That's because most of their target audience was in poor countries. Nestlé knew that it would be easier to convince poor and ignorant women of the same. They tried convincing US and European women of the same as well, but when people saw the research on breastfeeding, there was a massive boycott of Nestlé products from 1977 to 1984. Nestlé agreed to adhere to an international marketing code endorsed by the World Health Organization, which led to the official suspension of the boycott in the US. In 1974, London's War on Want organization published a book, The Baby Killer, that showcased how baby formula companies marketed their products. This was a Nestlé pitch. The nurse began by saying breastfeeding was best. She then went on to detail the supplementary foods that the breastfed baby would need. The nurse was implying that it was possible to start with a proprietary baby milk from birth, which would avoid these unnecessary problems. One third world country where Nestlé used its strategy very successfully was Pakistan. You can understand their MO. The same was carried out in countries worldwide. Aggressive marketing and misinformation, downplaying the benefits of breastfeeding. Mothers were provided with misleading information about the supposed superiority of formula, free samples and gifts for healthcare professionals. This influenced doctors and nurses to recommend formula over breastfeeding. Misleading information on the safety and ease of using formula. Mothers were led to believe that formula was a risk-free and convenient alternative, even in areas with limited access to clean water. Health risks due to improper formula use. Unlike breast milk, formula requires clean water for preparation. In Pakistan, where access to safe sanitation can be limited, using formula increases the risk of waterborne illnesses such as diarrhea and gastroenteritis. These illnesses lead to dehydration and malnutrition, both of which are particularly dangerous for babies. Economic strain and malnutrition. Many mothers who switched to formula due to Nestlé's marketing tactics couldn't afford to continue using it in the long run. This was because formula is often more expensive than breastfeeding. As a result, some infants ended up being undernourished due to inadequate formula use or a switch back to a less than ideal feeding practice. Long-term consequences. The potential health consequences of these practices, especially for a vulnerable population like infants, are a cause for concern. The scandal might have contributed to an increase in infant mortality rates in Pakistan, although quantifying the exact impact is difficult. In 2019, Nestlé sponsored a 5-hospital study on infant milk substitutes. Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) said that it violates India's Infant Milk Substitutes Act. Child slave labor. One would think that slavery is abolished across the world. But Nestlé in 2021 was accused of aiding and abetting the illegal enslavement of thousands of children on cocoa farms in their supply chains. Multiple lawsuits have been filed against Nestlé, alleging that the company knowingly benefits from cocoa sourced from farms that utilize child labor. The primary focus is on the Ivory Coast and Ghana, which produce a significant portion of the world's cocoa. These countries have a high prevalence of child labor in agriculture. Children as young as 6 years old are reported to be working on cocoa farms, performing dangerous tasks like wielding machetes and carrying heavy loads. The company claims it has programs in place to address child labor, such as farmer training and certification schemes. In 2019, Nestle said they could only track 49% of their chocolate purchasing to farm level and couldn't guarantee that their products were free from child labor. A lawsuit was filed in 2005 by Malian men who claimed that they were trafficked as children to work on Ivorian cocoa farms. It ultimately reached the US Supreme Court in 2021. The court ruled against the plaintiffs, stating that the lawsuit couldn't be pursued in the US courts for events that happened overseas. Water is not a right. When it comes to business, Nestle doesn't differentiate between rich and poor countries. California in the US is regularly ravaged by wildfires. It also experiences droughts regularly. Since the 1980s, it has experienced periodic droughts from 1986 to 92, 2007 to 2009, 2011 to 2017, and 2020 to 2022. This hasn't stopped Nestle from drawing 3.78 billion liters of water from California's groundwater every year. And how much does Nestle pay for this water? $524 a year. That's it. What's even more astounding is that Nestle's permit ran out in 1988. They didn't renew it and continued to take out water until 2021, when California finally ordered them to stop doing so. Nestle takes this water for nearly free, bottles it up, and sells it to people under their Arrowhead brand. In the 2000s, former Nestle CEO and later chairman Peter Brabeck-Letmatch said he didn't believe water is a right. The United Nations Economic Commission for Europe says on its page, according to the former CEO and now chairman of the largest food production manufacturer in the world, corporations should own every drop of water on the planet. And you're not getting any unless you pay up. Groundwater contamination in Pakistan. What Nestle did to California in the US, it repeated in Pakistan. It has extracted billions of liters of groundwater from its plants in Pakistan and sold it under its Pure Life brand. In 2015, a forensic audit report on Nestle Pakistan revealed the company had extracted 4.43 billion liters of water between 2013 and 2017, potentially without paying appropriate fees to the government. Reports from villages near Nestle plants like Bhati Dilwan allege that excessive water extraction has lowered water tables, forcing residents to rely on contaminated water sources. Over-extraction has led to a decline in water tables, impacting the availability of clean water for local communities, especially those living near the plants. Excessive pumping near coastal areas drew salt water into freshwater aquifers, further contaminating the water supply.